Hey everyone, so just wanted to give a quick rundown of how to use this dice file. So you'll see here anything that's green is something that you can manually edit, and anything that's not, you can't even select. That's just a way to protect the sheet. So the way this works is under this batter, whether you're a home or away team, you put in the name of your player. In this case, I'll put Gene Segura, and you'll notice you need to put both the last name, comma, and then the first name. That's slightly different than an old sheet, just for simplicity's sake to make sure there's never an error. When you hit the F9 button after that, you'll see that the first name populates, the batter's handedness populates, and their speed, but you do still need, as is the case with all green cells, you still need to manually populate both the position and the grade of that player. I'm going to go ahead and quickly copy and paste an entire roster in here, just to bypass having to manually do that. And I'm going to do the same for the home team. So when I hit F9, you're going to see everything looks good, except for one random thing here. You see there's an error for DJ LeMahieu. He's one of those guys that has a weirdly spelled name, requires initials and periods there. So if we F9 it again, we will be fixed. So our batters look good, but you'll also notice that we need to put in our pitchers as well. Same rules as before. You need to put in the last name, comma, first name. And let's put in DeGrom Jacob. Again, F9 to check if everything's working, and it is. Now, there's a lot of red things in here that we don't want people to touch, but you'll notice that it kind of gives us a broad overview of what's happening here. This is just a little sheet to show you who's pitching and who's at bat. Here's the primary role. Down here is the secondary role. But what you're going to notice right now in this case is we don't know who the batter is. So you need to manually choose who the batter is and put X next to them. So let's say Gene Segura bats leadoff. The X is there. When we're ready to roll, we hit the F9 button. You'll see that this thing rolled. We have a 6 and a 1. The result is here. The 6-1 result results in a 29 result. In that case, that's a 1-3, or if the pitcher's an X, it's a K. You can even, if you want, look down at the card down here. But in this case, that's an out. What you can do once that batter is out, you need to move the X to the next batter. You can do that with this next batter button. When you're ready to roll again, hit that F9 button. 1-5 would be a 10 result and a single in this case. Now, what you need to do then is we've got a man on first. Here are the buttons we use to put runners on base. In this case, we've got a single, so we need to hit man on first. You'll see up here we have an X in the first baseman spot. Next thing we need to do then is choose our next batter and roll. See our result and so forth. So the things we need to remember here are we have these green button, the column to choose our batter. At the beginning of the game, we obviously need to put in our players, their position, and their rating. And from there, it's just rolling and keeping score. At the end of the inning, you can just hit this clear button. You can empty the bases and roll to the home team. Alcides Escobar would lead off. We roll and go from there. A couple nuances you'll notice. So if you were to ever want to sacrifice, let's say you have a man on first and you want to sacrifice, you put an X in the sacrifice column. You roll. And you'll see down in the sacrifice tab, the result would be a 5-3 runner to second base, so that would be a successful sacrifice. And the same would be true if we wanted to hit and run here. We would choose the hit and run tab. We would hit F9 and see that, oops, we rolled into a double play. Once you're done with all those, situations, make sure you clear things out. At the end of the inning, always make sure to empty the bases and such. That's the simple rules of it. A couple other things to look at. You'll see that the fielding grades are automatically calculated. So when you have any of the roll results down here, you'll see if we have a 15 or 30, we're checking the left fielder grade. If we have a roll of a 20 or 26, we're looking at the second baseman grade, infield, and various things like that. So what's nice about this is if we roll a 22 and we need to check whether we're fielding 1, 2, or 3, we can check the grade of that team and determine the outcome. For the most part, that's it. Every once in a while, you will notice we need someone who has a second column card here. That may be, I think Segura has one. So I'm just going to roll a bunch of times with Segura until we see a second column. Here we do. We see a double 6, which is a second column. With a second column roll, we are automatically seeing what that second column result is. In this case, it's a 3-2, which would be an 11, and in this case, you see that's a first base or a single with a stolen base. So the sheet is doing all of the looking up for us, which helps make things go so quickly. One last function I'd like to show everyone. Just a thing I added to speed up the game is, yes, we have this next batter button, which is great, and you'll see that that will even go from the bottom all the way to the top, or for the home team, it will go from the bottom to the top. What's nice, though, is I've also added the ability to hit the F10 button, which will do the exact same thing. So you can go F10, then F9 to roll. That'd be an out. F10 to the next batter. F9, who knows what that is based on your pitcher. In this case, Kershaw's pitching, so that's an out. But that's just another thing I've added to speed up gameplay. Hopefully this helps people get an idea of how this works. Thanks so much.